Yes, we're very, very happy to have Mr. Jacob Thomas amidst us today. He is the Group Executive Director of KIMS Group, and he's in charge of the operations, the expansion plans for KIMS, and we're so happy to have you. We're going to have a great discussion about affordable healthcare in Bahrain. And before we start...
Of course, my usual question, what's the breakfast, Anita?
So, first, we've ordered this wonderful breakfast on UApp, and who are our generous sponsors. And the breakfast itself is from Caldo Cafe. We have some halloumi pie and some za'atar pie, and you have your lemon mint for a change.
Which is a bit tart, a bit bitter, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Yes, it's supposed to be that. And I have my coffee, and Mr. Jacob here is having some homemade tea. So, we can carry on with our podcast now?
Please carry on.
Okay, Mr. Jacob, welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
And could you, though I've introduced you, could you just give us a brief idea about your role within the group and how many years you've been with the group and stuff?
Yeah, like you introduced, I'm Executive Director of KIMS Health. And I'm in charge of projects as well as the operations of all the units in the GCC. At present, we are 16 units in the Gulf, in 5 countries. With the exception of Kuwait, we are in all the countries.
Okay.
Bahrain is our headquarters. Bahrain has our largest presence. We are 6 units in Bahrain.
Okay.
KIMS has been in the GCC since 2004. It all started with our chairman, Dr. M.I. Sahadullah, who was a physician in Saudi Aramco. He spent 27 years in Saudi Aramco, went back to Kerala and set up one of Kerala's prestigious hospitals called Kerala Institute of Medical Science. And KIMS is an abbreviation of Kerala Institute of Medical Science. And of late, we've been rebranded as KIMS Health because there are other hospital groups in India called KIMS.
Okay.
And in 2004, we established our first unit in Bahrain. And from 2004 till 2007, we didn't grow. But from 2007, we had a structured format put in, and I have joined the group from 2007.
Okay.
And the expansion of the group has been from 2007. So almost like 20 years with the group, 5 years as a consultant, and 15 years now as a full-time role.
That's a lot many years. Wow.
I remember your opening in 2004.
Yes.
Still there as well.
Yeah.
Same building, but all the dentists.
Yeah. This has been our inspiration for growth. I mean, Bahrain was our home from 2004, and we call that particular unit the mother of all our units. And
I am a user of it.
Yeah.
And so am I. Been with KIMS since I moved to Bahrain, and it's been 11 years. My favorite pediatrician is there, but I no longer need a pediatrician. So KIMS is a household name, like we've just mentioned, and we're known to provide affordable health care. So was that the idea right from the beginning, or did it evolve into it over a period of time?
So when we came in 2004, probably we were looking at referrals from Bahrain to India, to our hospital in India.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we approached the Ministry of Health.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, the Ministry of Health, the healthcare was largely with the Ministry of Health.
Okay.
And they were looking at private healthcare provision to come in. And our chairman met our partner, Mr. Ahmad Javeri. Together, they met the minister. And the minister said, why don't you set up something in Bahrain? And probably we are one of the first private health medical centers to be established in Bahrain. There was a large unmet need for the expat population, which was largely constituted by the blue-collar workers.
Right.
They were very reliant on the ministry systems, which had its own issues in terms of long waiting periods and all the waiting times and all those things. So when we opened, we selected a location. We got a location which was in Hassan, and which was not so much of a very high-end population.
Okay.
And because we had to cater to this population, which the minister herself himself said that there is a requirement, we kept our pricing very, very pocket friendly.
Okay.
And from the beginning, our insistence was on provision of high quality healthcare. So high quality healthcare combined with a pocket friendly approach definitely made us successful. And
So that's been your value proposition.
but then we've been expanding across the GCC. We have different formats. Even in Bahrain, we have the Royal Bahrain Hospital, which is positioned higher. But even in that one, for the kind of population that we cater to, we keep it pocket friendly.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to say it as cost effective.
How many branches or hospitals do you have?
So, as I said, we are 16 units right now, all over the GCC. 6 of them are in Bahrain.
Sorry, I beg you, Bahrain.
Yeah, Bahrain we are 6 units, 4 medical centers and 2 hospitals.
Okay. The Mohrak one is a hospital as well.
No, Mohrak one is a medical center.
So which is the other hospital?
The KIMS Health Hospital in Al Hassan,
And?
Royal Bahrain Hospital.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that. All right.
And each with its set of clinics which aid in kind of channeling the referrals to the hospital.
Okay. So the focus for the group has become GCC?
Yeah. We have the GCC side, we have an Indian side.
Okay.
The board, the chairman is the same.
Okay.
And but otherwise investors are different.
Okay.
I mean it stays as 2 separate entities.
All right.
The GCC business is headquartered in Bahrain. I mean we have our holding company as well as the management company in Bahrain.
All right.
So what challenges do you see for the health industry in Bahrain?
I mean, as you know, Bahrain is not a large country. It's about probably 1.5 plus a floating population of another 150,000 or something. The size of the population is definitely a limiting factor for any private healthcare to expand in terms of facilities, in terms of resources. Because any kind of an investment in resources or facilities needs a payback because it's a private healthcare institution. I mean, when I say payback, it's to ensure sustenance of the business.
True.
So far, the government has been forefront in terms of providing healthcare. Healthcare has 3 parts: the primary healthcare, the secondary healthcare, and the tertiary and the quaternary healthcare. I mean, private healthcare so far has limited itself to primary and secondary healthcare. Tertiary and quaternary involves a lot more investment, a lot more patient population to come in. So this is one of the major limitations in Bahrain. But one good thing that is happening is compulsory insurance is coming.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So compulsory insurance will be a great enabler for people to access private healthcare. Right now, the insured market size probably would be in the region between 300 to 350,000 population in Bahrain. The Bahraini population has free access to healthcare in the government district. I mean, a lot of them would opt to come to private if they are unable to access private healthcare, and this will be a great enabler for the private healthcare, even in terms of market size, also in terms of growth, in terms of getting into tertiary, quaternary care. And we also have other challenges in terms of availability of skilled manpower, and also the regulation and the licensing requirements, which sometimes can be difficult in terms of bringing good people in.
What do you mean by tertiary and quaternary healthcare? What does that mean?
I mean, I would say that it's more advanced care.
Okay.
I mean, like for example, a tertiary care could be cardiac surgery.
Okay.
A quaternary care could be a transplant.
Okay. Okay.
That's the way.
For which
I mean,
now-
primary is more to do with your public health.
Yes.
And your vaccinations, your wellness.
So for that, the tertiary and the quaternary one, people usually go out of the country.
It's available in the government, but people who can afford it, they go out of the country because there is a waiting time for people
Yes.
to access care in the country
That's true.
because it's limited.
The government is also encouraging health tourism. Is that a big part of your business?
I mean, traditionally, Bahrain attracts a lot of patients coming in from the eastern part of Saudi.
Yes.
Before, from Kuwait as well as Qatar. Not for general healthcare, but for special things like cosmetology or weight loss surgeries and those kind of things. But Bahrain has a lot of drainage from the eastern province of Saudi Arabia.
And that's also true for you.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about compulsory insurance. Do you think that's going to give rise to a lot of competition with new private players coming into the picture? Or?
From the time that we've been in the market till now, if you really look at it, there has been, a lot of mushrooming of private healthcare. That's, competition is bound to come, but I wouldn't say that competition is a bad thing. Competition is an opportunity for us to be the best.
Yes.
Yeah, and so that keeps us always glued on to our objective of pushing forward.
That's true.
We just had a podcast where we argued about employee motivation. How do you manage to keep the top talent within the group or develop the employees?
Yeah, it's always confused with the amount that you pay to retain talent. It's not just the only factor.
You can look at me like that, but again, we're talking about white-collar employees, aren't we?
You asked him the question.
Sorry about this.
It's a never-ending argument.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, just being paid. Everybody has to get paid in line with the market, in line with their individual expertise and talent. They should be satisfied with that, but that's not a long-term solution. For us, we invest in employee culture. Bringing up a culture that aligns everybody towards the objective of the organization. How do we do that? It's mostly through respect and fairness, integrity and transparency in our approach, giving everybody a chance to come up in their life, giving them the best tools and the work environment to work, and of course diversity. There's no when I say fairness, it also includes diversity. We are not biased towards a particular segment of the population or a race or gender.
Yeah, there is. Yes. Very balanced. Yeah, it's veering towards mine.
Jacob should have been
the
first
podcast. It's quite a heated one.
Yeah.
So the next question would be around Bahrain's 2030 vision about healthcare and looking at the aging population. Are you poised as a brand to address that?
Yeah, Bahrain has a big vision for 2030, and healthcare is an integral part of that. It says high quality healthcare to be accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
That healthcare should be modern and also self-sustaining.
Yeah.
So the compulsory insurance will definitely be a big step towards that. And we are, the new hospital that we built in Bahrain is to address that surge in population that would seek private healthcare. As I said, Royal Bahrain Hospital has a higher positioning. Not many people can access that. But the new hospital, which is almost built on the same standards as Royal Bahrain Hospital, is more broad-based, and so it can attract a lot more people who seek private healthcare. We are also looking at how we can collaborate with the government in terms of helping them reach these goals faster. We are looking at which are the areas where the government can benefit out of privatization. We are looking at which are the areas where the government can benefit out of cost containment, be it outsourcing certain aspects of the health which are required by the government to provide, which is really costly for them. So we are in constant
Okay.
talks with the government to see how. I mean, that's the way forward. I mean, the government will, restrict itself to certain aspects of the care.
Yeah.
Maybe primary health care, public health, and in certain areas, maybe a level of quaternary and tertiary, which they will this thing. But all the rest, I think they would give the benefit to the patient through encouraging competition and bringing in the best.
Okay. So this kind of dialogue happens
Yes.
with the private sector and the government,
Yes.
and you are a part of that
Yes,
policy
yes.
making as well.
I don't know whether that's part of the policy making, but then definitely the dialogue is encouraged and there is
Okay.
constant dialogue that's going on.
So that's quite heartening to know. My next question is around the much talked about mental health,
Yeah.
and these days that's like a big part of all discussions that we hear on social media or in wherever you go. So do you think KIMS also looks at mental health as really important? Have you been putting some sort of what do you say? I won't say a package in place, but something to address that.
Yeah, I mean, I think mental health was an issue always. But I think with COVID, I think it just got pushed to the forefront. So much so that WHO recognizes that as a major public health concern in the next decade or so. I mean, mental health is a big issue among the healthcare workers also because they are exposed to a lot of stressful factors, situations. I mean, the healthcare workers traditionally are told to put patient first.
Yeah.
And they don't practice so much of self-care. And that gives rise to a lot of burnouts. And the burnouts has a direct correlation with the kind of medical errors that happen in healthcare. So mental health is an important issue, not just for healthcare workers, but just for the general population as well. I mean, traditionally we've been providing psychiatric care or a psychiatrist within our facility as one of the disciplines but we also recognize that this is a big requirement. Most of the doctors that we have, I mean, in other disciplines also sometimes seek mental health help for patients who probably may need to be talked to or seen.
Yes.
I mean, some of the diseases that people present with may not be just a metabolic thing alone. It could be doing something to do with mental health also. So there has to be a lot of things that has to happen in tandem. So we are looking at getting into mental health.
Okay.
I mean, as a separate branch, we are looking at opportunities where there is considerable market. I mean, as a private healthcare business, we have to make sure it's self-sustained.
Yes.
We cannot, just because it's a requirement, and we do not have that kind of a financial backing for something. It has to be. So we're looking at the markets where we could look at. I mean, Bahrain, of course, is in our mind because it has a wider drainage from the eastern province of Saudi Arabia. And mental health, if it's a good mental health institution, we don't need to be restrained only with Bahrain or East. People will come from far.
Yeah, people from all over. Correct.
So we're looking at it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's also great because I think it's really important.
Yeah.
In fact, we're going to have a podcast on mental health and people in business.
Yeah.
And it's in the future. We're looking forward to that podcast. And
I hope you will subscribe.
Yes, of course.
I'll definitely send him the link and just nudge him. So what does the future look for the brand? I mean, you told us a lot about what you're going to do. You've been having a dialogue with the government and you've been giving back to the community. I know that you were the first and the only private healthcare provider who gave an entire floor to COVID patients.
Yes.
So your community outreach is on point. So continuing on these lines, what does the future hold for the brand? Are you looking to expand? Are you looking to just keep at it? So what is the plan like?
I mean, as our vision for the group is to be one of the leading healthcare organizations in the Gulf. I mean, providing exceptional care through high quality healthcare. I mean, we probably were the first to be accredited by an international accrediting body in Bahrain by the Australian Council for Healthcare Standards.
Okay.
We are also accredited by the government through its regulatory body called NHRA. We have the highest rating called the Diamond Accreditation.
Oh, okay.
I mean, affordable healthcare doesn't necessarily have to be made cheap. I mean, to give quality healthcare, it is. I mean, there's a lot of effort, there's a lot of expense that goes in, and our business proposition is that we never compromise on quality, and that's very important for us because it's recognized both by our patients as well as by the insurance companies. As in, that's a major thing that helps us grow. We are looking at consolidation in the existing markets that we are in.
Okay.
Traditionally, we've been in markets where there is not much competition. I mean, we get in there, and in Bahrain, if you see, we have two hospitals, one positioned higher, one positioned lower. We are creating its own network of clinics so that there is a referral network established for the hospital.
Okay.
We probably look at post-acute care and rehabilitation. We'll probably look at oncology. We're looking at a little bit of getting into personalized care by getting into genomics.
Okay.
Yeah, and
what about specialization?
I mean, we are also mulling over single specialty.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big need for certain things like that. So, I mean, like I said before, market size is definitely because when you go into high-end single specialty, there's a lot of investment that goes in, and I mean, any healthcare institution has to, if it has to be self-sustaining, has to pay back within 7 to 8 years time.
So that is the time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, so we have to look at the economics of it. And,
definitely.
So I mean, we will grow, and Bahrain has always been good for us. I mean, probably the best place that we are headquartered, and we are very huge in Bahrain, but at the same time we have Saudi in our eyes. I mean, in terms of expansion, UAE.
Okay.
Also reasonable effort in Qatar and Oman.
Oman. Okay. So that's all the questions from our side. Do you have anything else to ask?
I mean, on behalf of both of us, because both huge projects, we're very happy with it. So I have to say that.
Yes.
No problem with KIMS whatsoever.
Yes, we're very happy with the service, and it's been my go-to hospital for everything.
And Jacob has made this podcast very easy.
Yes, it is smooth.
Every answer is given a full answer, full description answer. Thank you for that. Sometimes we have difficulty with guests with getting an answer out of it.
This is very smooth.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and all the best for your new series. And,
yes, quite.
I wish it goes to enrich a lot of people who subscribe to your podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
So I didn't have time to have breakfast. Perhaps I will try it after the finish.
Yes, we can try that later.
Maybe you can tell everybody where we took this back.
Oh yes. Oh, how did I miss out on that?
Yeah.
So all of you can go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. It's called MH Consultants. And for regular updates, please go to our Instagram at mhconsultants_Bahrain. And thank you so much for watching.